All right, here I can see the numbers are starting to settle down a little bit, so I'm going to just kick this off. Good morning, everyone. My name is Haifa. I am a marketing assistant here at InfoTrack. Welcome to today's webinar, where we'll hear directly from a lender's perspective on improving operational efficiencies whilst mitigating risk. Taking you through today's webinar, I'm delighted to be joined by Suzanne Booth, who's the account director at LMS, Mike Hughes, who is the Chief Technology Officer at LMS, and Annabella Barker, who is the Product Manager at InfoTrack, and they will all be taking you through today's webinar. Before we begin the webinar, I would like to draw your attention to the Q&A tab, which is located at the bottom of your screen. We will be running a Q&A at the end of this session, so please type any questions you might have for Suzanne, Mike, or Annabella, along with your name into the Q&A box. That way, if we do run out of time, or if your question requires a bit more clarification, we will extract your information and follow up with you directly after the webinar. So now I'm going to hand you over to Mike.
Thanks, Haifa. I think there might be an issue with oh, there we go. That's better. I'm sure everyone can see that okay. Thanks very much. Yeah, so hi everybody, my name is Mike Hughes. I am the CTO at LMS. Thanks everyone for being here. I hope that you enjoy the session today and take away some positive outcomes. I'm guessing that maybe all of you know who LMS are, but just in case there's a few that don't, we're a conveyancing panel manager. We work in both the remortgage and the sale and purchase arenas, and we've been doing this for a long time, over 20 years, and currently we have contracts with 36 different lenders. Here at LMS, our stated purpose is to make conveyancing easier, and honestly, that's at the heart of everything that we do. We are in a fairly unique position to help drive positive change in the industry, and we see ourselves as part of an ecosystem where there is, I guess, a real appetite for improving all aspects of the conveyance through reducing risk, increasing efficiency, and improving customer experiences. And the role that we have in that ecosystem means that we have A, a lot of data, and B, great visibility of the work that's happening and those involved in delivering it. And leveraging those assets over the last few years, we've really accelerated our development of products and services to help achieve that overall goal of making conveyancing easier. And a great example of that is how we've leveraged the quality of data we have about law firms when earlier this year we launched what we believe is a class-leading account check service, Confirmly, which you're going to see a demo of shortly. Another recent example is how we developed a new suite of APIs, integrations, to allow law firms and CMS providers to interact with us without having to use our portals, our UIs at all. And those new services have now been adopted by many law firms, CMS providers, which is driving gains in operational efficiency. And one final example that's quite topical, you might have seen in the press recently, our new digital remortgage proposition called DART. And as part of that ongoing initiative, we're developing a whole range of new products and capabilities that we believe will transform the remortgage process. And looking further into the future, it's our intention to bring some of those capabilities to bear in the sale and purchase arena also. So, working closely with many lenders as we do, it does give us an interesting perspective on their priorities, their challenges, and their expectations. So this session it is really good to have the opportunity to talk with you all about some of those. So with that in mind, I'm very pleased to introduce to you Suzanne Booth, who is one of our lender account directors here at LMS. So Suzanne, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mike. So as mentioned, I'm Suzanne Booth, and I've been working as an account director at LMS for nearly 8 years. The role means that I'm in discussion with lenders on a daily, weekly, monthly basis and have oversight of any issues, requirements or strategies that might need to be addressed from a conveyancing perspective. So today I'm looking to talk through the operational efficiencies that are adopted by lenders via their digital strategy, which also then informs LMS's digital strategy, the significance of adhering to lender requirements, and areas of risk that they're concerned about at the moment and ongoing as kind of overarching areas of risk as well. So the market at the moment is currently quite volatile, as I'm sure you'll all be well aware, and we know that there are difficulties across the sector with forecasting and capacity, as well as recruitment into teams and retention. So that's something that we regularly discuss with lenders who are also dealing with a post-COVID workforce, and they understand the issues faced by many conveyancing organisations because they're experiencing the same issues. So to assist, and as Mike's mentioned, LMS has sought to build a number of products to assist with key pressure points in the process. Really, we're looking to ensure that operational efficiencies are built into the service rather than just component parts. So as a starting point, when we're speaking with our lender partners in governance calls or in our strategic meetings, some of the key themes that tend to emerge as great areas of importance, and I'm sure these will be no surprise to any of you, are customer service, always top of their priority list, efficiencies, so looking at operational efficiencies and automation, but also areas where we can maybe reduce administrative tasks. Which then leads on to turnaround times. So most lenders do really want to ensure that turnaround times are reduced wherever possible. So that really feeds into where we're looking at adding component products to the service. They're also always quite keen to make sure that the security of their charge is protected. That's always a key area of risk for them. And obviously the wider fraud mitigation and risk mitigation piece. So those tend to be the standing agenda points always. But then obviously as months pass and as the market fluctuates, there's then always key areas that come out of that as well. So as LMS, we understand that when the market is impacted, as it is at the moment, a number of factors can throw some of these areas more into the spotlight. So customer service can falter if there's spikes in applications and maybe shortages in telephony staff, either through illness or recruitment. Turnaround times can elongate if one of the third-party service providers experience any service issues, which in turn then impacts your administrative resource and the lender's administrative resource in chasing for updates and updating clients and brokers. It's a bit of a vicious cycle, it can seem at times. So times of volatility can often highlight key areas of the process that cause delay and concern. And that's where, as LMS, we're then trying to make sure that we're mitigating that as much as possible and building products to assist both lenders and law firms in getting the conveyance done. So following on from that, at the moment, some of the top items that we're seeing on lender agendas are clearly the digitisation and automation of the process. How do they target areas that are causing the most pain? Market capacity and volatility is another key area of interest for them at the moment. Some of the risk issues that seem to have flagged are around things like cybersecurity. We've had quite a few queries recently just around energy and power and how that is in place. PI claims and also safe transfer of funds. That's always really high on their agenda. They also always want to make sure that they're treating customers fairly, especially at the moment. Obviously, times are quite difficult, so they want to make sure that customers have a straightforward and easy journey through the process. So each lender tends to have their own digital strategy that seeks to tie into industry initiatives. And as the world moves towards a more automated way of transacting, lenders just don't want to be left behind, and they want to ensure that customers have an easy and straightforward experience, as I mentioned. So that's difficult often given the number of parties that are involved in the transaction. So that's where LMS tries to automate and digitise some of the elements in the process just to make it easier and to provide efficiencies for law firms and lenders. So some of our recent examples from a lender perspective include SecureLink, which is a post-offer messaging platform, our redemption statement portal, and electronic certificate of title. So what these component products do is seek to mitigate the service and make it more efficient for admin teams and those that are undertaking the work. I think the hope from our perspective is that there's an economy of scale for the law firms, as there's one place to go for all of the lenders that LMS works with, rather than having to go to different portals, different email addresses, phoning different departments. The idea is that we can then maybe try and shave days off the turnaround time because documents aren't posted or queries aren't queued to be worked. They're going to them in a really straightforward process. The lender's getting everything in the same way and you're getting everything in the same way as well. In the case of SecureLink, for example, only complex queries need to be attended to, and they can often use robotics to work the data that we send them because it's validated by our system. So hopefully you're then getting answers much faster than you might do otherwise. And as an account director team, we are working with more and more lenders to try and increase adoption of that type of component product, because whilst that's maybe just one part of the process, we see that that's an area that can cause delays and frustration for you if you're not getting responses back. So the real economy of scale benefit can then be seen because everything's coming via LMS for those lenders. So as I mentioned earlier, we know that market capacity becomes quite difficult to manage with volatility and fluctuations in products. We've seen borrowers and brokers applying for and holding rates, which means cancellation rates can increase if those cases don't come to fruition. On the purchase side of things, we see housing stock depletion and affordability factors causing problems for buyers and broken chains elongating transaction times. So this is where we really seek to assist lenders with accurate reporting and MI so that they can make sure that they're telling us when cases in flight are cancelled. We can then hopefully tell you very quickly so that you're not then working on a case that isn't proceeding, and then hopefully assist with clean pipelines as well. So one of the key topics that we wanted to speak about today was risk and fraud mitigation, because it's such a key area and interest for lenders. LMS, as we mentioned, has built a lot of products to ensure that risk of fraud is mitigated through the transaction or can be minimised completely. And we tend to target pressure points where fraudsters might commonly try to intercept the process. So as Mike mentioned, Confirmly and Bank Account Check are both tools that we can use in this instance. So lenders are definitely concerned about the safe transfer of funds and ensuring that monies reach their intended destination. We'll discuss Confirmly, I know, towards the end of this webinar, and you'll see the demo, and hopefully you're already aware of some of the benefits that this can bring towards combating fraud. But lenders would want this tool to be used to ensure that the utmost care and attention is there when transferring funds to other law firms, because really we're trying to reduce the margin for fraudsters to intercept this part of the transaction. We have a parallel customer service, which is Bank Account Check, where customers can essentially check the account details before they send deposit monies or shortfalls or anything like that. And then we'll alert them if the details don't match, so they won't send any funds until they've established the correct details. So the more people that are using the service, the less chance for dishonest claims or bogus details to be used, thus hopefully protecting you, the borrower and the lender. And so this is the type of product that we really want to make sure is used through the transaction to minimise the risk of fraud there. From a lender perspective, we've also, as I mentioned, implemented electronic certificate of title and redemption statement portals. And these tools also help to make sure the risk of fraud is mitigated. And I'd urge you to use these wherever a lender has this integrated as a product. The premise is that LMS essentially validates the law firm details against our system before it's sent on to the lender. And in the case of ECOT, a number of those fields are locked down to ensure that there's no discrepancy. So as the fields are always the same, lenders can then automatically create the either the redemption statement document, or they can queue funds for release much faster, meaning that you as a law firm can be assured that you'll receive the funds or you'll receive the document you need without having to chase or send duplicate requests in. We want to adopt the idea of having one place to go for a number of those lender processes, meaning that you as a firm aren't having to check each separate requirement or having to manage several lender contact points, which we know can be quite tricky, especially if you've got lots of people having to chase. Lenders need assurance that law firms have remained compliant with correct policies and procedures, so their charge is registered correctly. That's the key output in terms of their risk and requirement. It's important to remain compliant here because the lender needs to make sure that their charge will be registered. They need to make sure that they have security, and we know and we've seen that restrictions or issues can just complicate and delay this. So a key priority for a lender is making sure that they could take ownership of the property in case of default, which is why the conveyance is so important in that process. Many of our lenders are adopting things like SecureLink, which is our post-offer messaging service, so that you as a law firm can ask those questions to make sure that you're compliant with their requirements. But also, obviously, the Lender Handbook is there, and they'd expect full adherence to that as well. It's just critical to remain in compliance for their work. So one of the key roles that we have with lenders is managing the criteria for panel membership and ensuring that law firms have correct policies and procedures in place to mitigate risk of fraud. We tend to be collaborative and open with this, and hopefully that's your experience of LMS. If a law firm isn't able to join the lender panel, we genuinely do want to try and explain the reasons for this and help to make sure that you can join in the future. Lenders are also open to discussion around that too. So, for example, through COVID, a number of our lenders relaxed their criteria around purchase completions to allow law firms who maybe hadn't done as many completions that year because of the industry stopping during COVID to continue to work on panel and not be removed from panels. So we do have really close conversations with lenders if there's anything like that comes up that potentially puts a number of law firms at risk from being removed through no fault of their own, if there's a wider issue at play. From a lender perspective, some of the key reasons that we see for law firms being removed from panel, and probably the most common that I see at the moment, are non-compliance with the charge registration requirements. So lenders are fully aware, and we talk to them about this on a monthly basis, about the backlogs at the various land registries. And they genuinely want to work in conjunction with law firms to make sure that they're not at risk in the meantime and that their security is protected. So the LMS charge registration process is in place to provide a level of reporting to lenders to assure them that everything is on track and any issues can then be dealt with by exception. So if this wasn't in place, the fear would be that lenders would be chasing law firms directly on all of their outstanding cases, which would just not work. From anyone's perspective, it would be a bit of an administrative nightmare for yourselves and for the lenders. So what we want to do is to make sure that you've uploaded the correct documentation and any delay reasons. We provide all of that data to the lender, and then it's only by exception that they then need to raise any queries or check that something is in place or an application is progressing. There shouldn't really be any reason for a lender to contact you outside of LMS, because obviously we undertake interventions, or we will speak to you if issues are arising. So I think as long as updates are provided to LMS, we can then provide full update to the lender, and you shouldn't then have too many administrative queries to deal with. Other areas that we're seeing referred at the moment are relating to things like PI claims and breaches that are maybe inordinate based on the number of purchase completions, and this is always a fair assessment. So we'll look at how many completions have been undertaken and then the percentage of claims. Sometimes it might be due to financial instability or lack of compliance with policies. So, for example, cybercrime has become a recent quite hot topic, but as long as we know that policies and procedures are in place to combat it, lenders are generally satisfied. We know it's an area that the entire industry is continuing to battle with. And as I mentioned at the start, another area that we seem to be getting a few questions around at the moment as a supplier is ensuring that the correct power and things like that's in place, and that we've got BCP in place in case of any outages. So to summarise, in an ever-changing world and times of volatility, risk mitigation and operational efficiencies do tend to take precedence in lender strategy. So as LMS, if we can add additional controls and tools to enable the mitigation of risk and make cumbersome processes simpler, as well as hopefully providing tools to law firms to ensure that fraud is combated and embedded as part of the service, such as Confirmly, then we can ensure that the requirements are satisfied from a lender perspective. So I'll now hand over to the InfoTrack team, who I know have some demos to share before we can take any questions. That's all right.
Thank you, Suzanne. So I'll just share my screen now so I can run through the products that we're going to discuss today. Can everyone see my screen okay? Yeah, great, okay. So I work in the product team here at InfoTrack, and as Suzanne mentioned, we work alongside LMS to help streamline the process of meeting the lender's requirements through integration. So there are two ways to access InfoTrack, either via the website or through an integration with one of our partners. This is the InfoTrack platform. You have your dashboards on the left-hand side, your current matters in the middle, and your news and calendar on the right-hand side. So I'm going to run through the products that we've built to support you in meeting your obligations to lenders, and this includes mortgage offer integration, the Lender's Handbook, Confirmly, and charge registration integration as well. So under mortgage offer integration, all of your offers will be delivered to the InfoTrack platform. So you won't need to log into LMS Conveyancer Zone to download documents and upload them to your matter. So when an offer is received, we'll send you a notification email with the details of the lender and the property. And you'll then log into the InfoTrack platform and open your mortgage offers dashboard on the left-hand side, where all your offers will be shown. So when you click on an offer on the dashboard, you'll see the full details of the offer on the right-hand side and the documents below, and clicking on the documents will allow you to preview them. And as I'm accessing through the website, I'll enter my matter reference here. It will then pull through the address and the purchaser name for the matter if this is known. You then simply need to check that this matter is a match for the offer. And you'll also select your case handler here. And we'll send this down to LMS for you as well, so you don't need to log in separately to Conveyancer Zone to assign the case handler. Then tick to confirm that the offer is associated with this matter and select link to matter. And if we do detect a mismatch here, we'll alert you to this via a pop-up as well. Once the offer is linked to your matter, the offer documents will be shown in your matter viewer and in the workflow under existing orders for added visibility of your case progress. And if you do access InfoTrack through a case management system, then the offer documents will be saved to your matter automatically as well. We'll also automate an email to the case handler that you've assigned so that they're aware that the offer has been received. And then if further documents or a revised offer are sent by the lender, we'll send you another email to notify you, but you won't need to link the offer again. The documents will just pull down automatically. So you can register for the integration under your mortgage offers dashboard. And we've also been integrating with UK Finance for a couple of years now, and we've got a few different features to help support you in staying on top of the lender's requirements. So the Lender Handbook is located under the bank check section of your workflow. You've got 3 tabs, the handbook, the search for updates, and manage my alerts. So the handbook tab allows you to view parts 1, 2, and 3 of the handbook for all lenders in England and Wales. So select your lender from the drop down and the parts that you would like to view. Oh, sorry. Just trying to move the window, try again. Okay, select your lender from the drop down. We'll pre-select part 2 for you, but you can select whichever parts you want to view here and then click search. So the contents are shown on the left-hand side, so you can quickly find the relevant section or question by expanding these headers. And we've also got a handy search bar here, so you can look up keywords. So for example, if you wanted to check doubling ground rents, you would just type that in here and click search. And then all questions and answers which refer to this will be shown, and the keyword will be highlighted as well. And we also show the date that each answer was last updated. So for example, you can see that this answer was changed on the 5th of September. So we've recently added the review feature, and this is to support you in meeting the new CQS requirement to record on your file that a check of the handbook has been carried out. So this will allow you to select any sections which apply to your case and save them to your matter. You can tick individual questions or entire sections, or you can select all if you want to as well, and then click Save to Matter in the bottom right. You'll just review what you've selected and click Confirm. A document will then be created showing the date that the handbook was checked, who it was checked by, and which sections were reviewed. And this means that the lender's responses at the time that the handbook was viewed will be captured in your file. And if you wanted to add to your review, you can re-access it using the orange Review Handbook button on your matter viewer. And when you expand the sections, you can see which ones were reviewed, and if so, when, making it easier for other people in your team to check the handbook at different stages of the transaction. And all reviews will be saved to a single document, so this can be tailored to fit your process. The next feature we have is a search for updates. So this allows you to check whether the lender has made any changes to Part 2 since the inception of your matter. or another date of your choosing. So by default, we'll select 6 months prior here, but you can change this. So, and I'll just select my lender from the drop down and then click order. And a report will then be returned listing any changes that have been made and the answer before and after the change as well. So for instance here, we can see that that answer about ground rents was changed on the 5th of September, and you've got the information before and the information after. And then lastly, we have our alerts. So this is a free service which allows you to sign up to receive an email when a lender changes part 2. So just select which lenders you want to subscribe to and then click to update your preferences. And the update email will show the new and the previous answer and will highlight the differences for you so you can easily see what's changed. So for example, here, Barclays changed this answer on the 5th of September, and you can see that this section here about doubling ground rents has been removed. Okay. So next I'll run through Confirmly, which is a search we've launched in partnership with LMS. So LMS use their own panel link data to check the firm details for this. And these are verified as part of their 2-stage panel application process. Then once a firm is accepted onto the panel, their details are constantly confirmed through each direct interaction with LMS. And this data is relied upon by lenders, and using it helps to support the risk mitigation processes required under the Core Practice Management Standard and the UK Finance Lenders Handbook as well. So in addition to this, many PI companies will ask on their renewal forms whether the firm details are independently authorised before transferring money. And this is because other means of verification, for instance, calling the firm to check, have been proven to be insufficient. So Confirmly is also shown in the bank check section of your workflow under the lawyer bank check header. Requesting the search is simple. Just search by the firm name or postcode and enter the bank details that they have provided to you. You'll then do a lookup of the firm against LMS Live database and select the matching firm from the list and click order. The result will be returned instantly, and it will clearly state either match, a match with cautions, or a no match. The result will show the company name, their trading name, their address, and the bank account details that you have provided. We've also got this risk reducer section, which will show that the date that the firm's details were first added to panel link and when they were last changed for some additional reassurance. The search will also show any SRA alerts which have been issued for the firm in the past year, and this will add a caution to a result as it may require further investigation by you. And then in the additional information section, we'll provide the contact details that LMS hold for the firm and any regulatory body memberships as well. And we've also recently launched our referral service so that if the firm can't be found on LMS's panel, you can request for a manual check to be carried out. So I'll just quickly run through how that works as well. So enter the firm details here and click look up. Okay, so if the firm can't be found on this list by searching by the name and the postcode, then you can enter the firm details manually in this blank row at the bottom of the list here. And this will generate a referral to LMS, who will undertake further research of the firm, which will include any panel applications that they've made, the regulatory body memberships, a check of Companies House, the firm's website, Google Maps and Street View, and a search of any SRA scam alerts against the firm as well. And LMS will also attempt to call the firm to confirm their bank account details, and they'll state in the result whether they have been able to do this. And this result will be returned within 4 working hours. Okay, so lastly, I'll run through our charge registration integration, and this enables you to link your OS priority and your AP1s to the LMS case so that the documents will be sent to LMS for you. So when you open your order page for OS priority, there'll be an LMS case number section. And if you've already linked your offer to this matter, then the case will be pre-selected for you. Otherwise, you can look up for the postcode or the purchaser name or the lender in here as well. You'll then order your search, and once a priority result is returned from Land Registry, we'll pass the document down to LMS and it will be uploaded to the case in Conveyancer Zone automatically. So it saves you from having to download the file and then log into Conveyancer Zone to upload it. And then similarly, when you lodge your AP1, towards the bottom of the form, you will have the same link to LMS section. And if you've already linked the LMS case on the mortgage offer or the OS priority, then we'll pre-select it for you. And then once Land Registry have received your application, it's just here. Once Land Registry have received your application, we'll send the submission receipt to LMS as the confirmation of application to register. And then when the AP1 is complete, we'll also pass the updated register down to LMS, and both documents will be uploaded to the case in Conveyancer Zone. And then at this point, if all the other required information has been added to the case, it will be closed automatically on receipt of the new official copy register. So this really helps to avoid any delay in updating the lender and reduce the admin time involved as well. So you can sign up to both mortgage offer and charge registration integration on your mortgage offers dashboard. And after signing up, LMS will contact you to confirm that the integration has been activated. So we'll now have our Q&A, so I'll just hand back to Haifa.
Thank you so much. I'm just gonna take off with the Q&A now. Thank you everyone for your presentation and insights. Just a reminder, if you did have any questions that you wanted to submit for this session, you can submit them now. I'm just gonna kick it off with the first question that we have here, which is, how much is the Lender Handbook integration? Ooh, you're on mute.
Sorry. So we've got three aspects to the Lender Handbook integration. So firstly, we've got just viewing the handbook and our review feature, which I showed you, and that is free. The search for updates, which is checking whether any changes have been made from a certain date, that is £4.80 for that report. And then to sign up to the alerts, the kind of real-time email alerts, that's free.
Thank you. And how much is Confirmly?
And so Confirmly is £15, including VAT.
Thank you. The next question that we have here is, how much is LMS integration? So the charge registration integration, which is linking your OS and your AP1 documents so that they get sent to LMS for you, that's completely free. There's no fee for that. The mortgage offer integration is £1 plus VAT per offer document that is sent down through the integration. Okay, thank you. And the last question that we have from the audience is, which documents will be sent to LMS under the integration?
So for your OS priority, there's only one document return for that, so we'll send that down to LMS for you. For your AP1, we know that in Conveyancer Zone, the lender requires both the proof of application to register and the updated register as well when that comes back, so we'll send both of those. There are a number of lenders that also require for the mortgage deed to be sent to Conveyancer Zone. So for those specific lenders, we will also push the mortgage deed down to LMS for you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I believe that's all the questions we have from our audience today. If you did have any other questions, feel free to submit them now. But otherwise, I think we'll be wrapping up. I would just like to say a big thank you to Suzanne, Mike, and Annabella for joining us today. I hope you all found this session helpful and informative. If you do have any other questions about anything you've learned today, then you can contact us by telephone or reach out to your account manager who will be able to assist you. Alternatively, you can use the details that are on the screen to contact us. This session is being recorded and we will send you a copy so you can refer back to it. All that's left to say is thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you all.
Thank you, Haifa.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.